Okay, so Robert Eldine, who do we have with us today?
We are so excited to have this woman of God with us this morning. If you don't know who she is, you will know after this interview. She is going to bless you with her testimony, and she's going to let you know a little bit about her. Ladies and gentlemen, we introduce to you Miss Charle. Welcome to the Wake Up Morning Show with Robert Eldine and Dr. LT.
Good morning, good morning, good morning to you both and to all of your listeners. We are in the building. We awake. I'm awake.
Yes, you are.
Here.
Where are you coming from? Where are you living?
I live in Carson, California.
She's Cali.
Yes, right there, right down the freeway from you guys.
Yes.
Hi, Charlotte. How you do?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Good to see you again.
Yes. So, darling, have you been over to the Carson Mall and get you some Mommy Helen's pies?
I have not yet. I put it on my list
Okay.
though when you told me about it. I'm going. I'm headed there.
Oh,
I'm headed.
okay, because I think that it would be a cup of coffee, the pie, and your book.
Oh,
And it's
That's
all
a great combination.
it's gonna all be good
Yes.
together. So darling, I want to jump right into it. Stormwatch. Talk
okay,
to me.
let's Stormwatch. Stormwatch is a book that I wrote in the pandemic in 2020, and it is a story about my firstborn son who has had a number of health challenges. He has had 5 full open heart surgeries. I'm not talking about those little baby, surgeries like in one day and then you go home the same day. No, I'm talking like full recovery, full open chest. The first 2 surgeries were in the first 2 weeks of his life.
Jesus.
So this story is about how me and my husband and my entire family, my entire village, how we navigated through those storms, those health challenges that he has had over the years. But my motivation was to share our story so that it can inspire and encourage other people that are challenged in their faith and in their hope and that need encouragement. So this book is like a blueprint to how to navigate through your storm, whatever your storm is that you're going through.
Wow.
I'll walk you through my journey, but I give you, highlights and tips and encouraging words along the way, just to, tell you to hold on to God's unchanging hand. Because the storm, this is, yeah.
Well, Sister Johnson, I just want to ask this question.
Jesus.
Is Brother Johnson there with you?
He is. Well, we got 3 toddlers.
Okay.
So he is in the building, but he is being daddy right now. But he's here.
Tell Brother
he
Johnson.
can come on if we need him to.
Yeah, tell Brother Johnson we need to get him on too, because you wasn't watching a storm watching by yourself, and I think that is an additional testimony. Because a lot of times families don't make it through these type of crises.
No,
so let's just talk about how you made it through this crisis with your marriage still intact.
So let's back up to the beginning, and I do actually go through this in the book as well. My husband has a chapter in the book where he gives his vantage point on the matter. But we were newlyweds, like we were 6 months married when we got pregnant. So we were actually still in our honeymoon phase, the phase where we were supposed to be learning each other, learning how to live with each other. And we found out we were pregnant. And then after we found out we were pregnant, about 3 months into the pregnancy is when they told us that our son had health challenges and that we should abort him and try again, that his life would be, the value of his life was going to be minimal, so we should try again. And then we decided, we are pastors. My husband is a senior pastor. I'm the executive pastor. So, as we serve in ministry, it's like we can't talk about faith and hope and not actually practice it when it's our turn.
Yes.
So we prayed. We got with our village and we prayed about it, and we decided to keep our son. And I would say the challenges that arose during those times was really learning when we both needed a breather. It was learning the days that we were snapping at each other and if we snapped at each other, it's like, this is not a personal attack. This is, I'm going through something because I don't know how to, navigate through this. I don't know how to, I'm watching my 4-pound baby be connected to all of these wires, and all we hear is beeps and sounds and nurses running through the hallway. So it's really not a personal attack on you. It's just that I'm having a moment because I'm a new mom and I have no idea what's going on with my child. I'm trying to pray. I'm trying to keep it together. But today is a bad day. And baby, I love you, but don't take it personal. And because we were newly married, we had to learn how to navigate through those moments. We were actually also living at the hospital. The first time he was in, it was for like about a month and a half. So, it was a lot of close-knit moments. They have these small twin beds in the hospital suites in ICU for the kids. So we call it nose to toes, because I was on one end of the bed. He was on one end of the bed. So his toes was to my nose, and my toes was to his nose. So
wait a minute.
Wow.
So while you was in the hospital, nose to toes, did he ever kiss your feet?
Ooh, he didn't. That would have been, you know what? We probably would have had to have another child in the hospital. But,
So one of the things the reason why I'm asking these type of questions is because you're newlyweds. You're just 6 months into your marriage. This is where you're exploring and just learning how to be together. And you get pregnant, and then you have these health challenges. Then you have the baby. You're in the hospital. So what happens to or how did you maintain like intimacy moments? How did you guys connect? Because you're newlyweds.
Yeah, it was definitely rough. There were moments where we couldn't connect. I mean, like I said, we were there for that whole month and a half. We did have, family members that said, okay, y'all look tired. Why don't y'all, go home, go rest, or they would get us a hotel room. But we were so exhausted, so emotionally exhausted with the situation. Once we would get home or once we would get to the hotel, all we did was just want to sleep and, hold on to each other. Like, okay, baby, we gonna make it through this. We gonna make it through this. Yeah, but then, once baby boy was okay, we had another child like right after. So, we didn't miss no intimate moments because we ended up having 3 kids back to back.
Okay.
Well, but the faith that it takes to still trust God when you sometimes don't even see him, because that's very, very trying.
And, I'm getting ready to jump into this. Were you all pastoring at that time?
My husband was, he was the senior pastor. At that time, I was a newly, pastor's wife, first lady or whatever.
Wow.
So I was trying to learn how to be a wife, how to be a pastor's wife. I was looking for the cliff notes on how to be a first lady. I mean, I was raised in church, but it's still it was a lot of transitions. I'll say that.
So that's one of the things I want to ask that. How did you manage being a newlywed, a newly, my wife would say only lady. There ain't no first lady. You the only lady.
That's right.
Only lady of the church, and trying to be a wife, trying to be a mother, and then having all these folks tied into you for leadership and what they gonna do. Will they make it?
Oh,
How let's talk about how you made it, and let's talk about your prayer life and your husband's prayer life to get you where you're at.
So initially, I was I was embarrassed to even talk about it, to even share, because I really just wanted to deal with it on my own with God. I was thinking, we had, and this is no pun intended to anyone, but we felt like we had did this the right way. Like, okay, we dated, we got married, and then it was like, okay, we're gonna have some kids. So when this all came about, I was like, well, am I being punked, or is this some kind of curse? Like, what happened? Where did I go wrong? And then later on, of course, I learned the power in the testimony. But when you're right in that type of storm, you don't see any of that. The reality is, you're asking God a whole lot of questions. I didn't want people to see me in a different light. I didn't want people to see me weak. I didn't want people to see me vulnerable.
Right.
I really just had a lot of personal conversations with God, and I can stand flat-footed today and say that it was nobody but God and his strength and his grace that kept me and held me through the process. I learned now on the other side of it that there were people that I'm assigned to that were watching me go through.
Wow.
Because now, people, when they have kids that have health challenges, or when they see moms that have any kind of storms, I'm the first person they call. I get inboxes and messages say, hey, can you pray with this mom? Her child is in NICU. Her child was rushed to the hospital. Can you just call her and talk to her? So some of that stuff you don't see until after the storm. While you're in it, all you see is, chaos, and you're just praying, God, just keep me, just keep me.
You saying, Lord, was that really a cow that just flew over? Was that a semi truck? Oh my Jesus! Now my thing is, and here's the question I'm gonna ask you, and this is gonna be real talk.
Okay.
At any point during the storm, did you just be like, for real, God? I'm your God. What's really going? I did this the right way. What up? Did you ever have that conversation?
Absolutely. And watch this, on more than one occasion, which is why I had to write the book, because people are not always honest and transparent about their moments with God. Just because we go to church, just because we walk in faith, just because we're in ministry does not mean that we're not going to be faced with trials and tribulations. And we know that with the story of Job, right? But, to see it modern day, to see modern day miracles, to see a Black family walking through this type of storm and saying, hey, God, like we here, we serve you every week, we serving your people, we've been kingdom our whole life. What's up with this? What are we supposed to do with this?
So I'm gonna ask you this is gonna be another one. And
okay.
So how many times we always say the women are the prayer warriors, you know what I'm saying? And they hold up the men to go to do the warfare and everything else. How did, during this time, with your husband being the senior pastor and he had to go before the people every week, how did you still undergird him while he had to still minister and speak a word of life?
My Lord, that almost just drove me to tears. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because on Sundays and Wednesdays, I was watching my husband pull himself together to leave to go teach Bible study and then come right back to the hospital. On Sunday mornings, he would get up. They had a shower at the hospital that all the parents had to share. That's a whole nother conversation. But I would watch him get dressed, get himself together, go to church, crying in the car, just trying to hold it together. So I really just had to pray, like, Lord, just give my husband strength. And especially because men are fixers. They like to be able to fix everything. And this was a situation that my husband could not fix. So I watched him be frustrated, angry. I watched him, ask God why. So I had to pray specifically for God to send a certain amount of peace over his mind, over his spirit, and then for him to find a way to use it to minister to the people, because the people were watching. Him and my dad were great at sharing the story on Facebook during the time. So there were a lot of people that started to get tuned in and watching our story. And I'm like, okay, but now that the people are watching, we have to show them God. We have to show them faith. We have to show them that if we can make it through, you can make it through.
Now, how was the young man doing now?
He is 8, and he is getting on my last nerves as a second grader. So in general, he's 8. If you saw a picture of him right now, you would not think or believe any of the story I'm telling you. He is running around like a regular 8-year-old would. However, he does still have the heart challenges. You can't physically see any effects of it. He is smaller than most of the kids in his class and his age range because of the diagnosis that he has. We still see all of our specialists. We go for the heart doctor. We go for his nutritionist. We go for he has two kidneys. They're both on the same side. But when I was pregnant with him and we were going through all of this, they only found one kidney the entire pregnancy. It was only one. But when he was born, they said, oh, there are two. They're just both on the same side. So we see a kidney specialist. There are all kinds of specialists that we have to see that follow him, you know, thoroughly and closely throughout the year. As far as heart surgeries, he will need another one as he grows and gets older. We just kind of, you know, see how where he's at and how he's doing. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but he also has a pacemaker. So when they did the first heart surgery, he had transposition of the great vessels, which is where the two major arteries are switched. So the one that pumps the blood to the heart, and the one that pumps the blood to the body, they were in the wrong places. So when they went in to do the first switch, they damaged a nerve in his heart, which is a common side effect. So they waited a few days to see if the nerves would kick back in, but it didn't. So then that's when they went back in to install the pacemaker. And he was so tiny that they had to put it on the right side of his stomach. So it's not even, the pack is not even close to his heart. So they put it down on the side of his stomach. So he does go for that as well, where we have to check to make sure that the pacemaker is functioning properly, make sure that his settings are all in alignment. My baby can't play no contact sports, but he still thinks that he is a football player and loves the NFL and the NBA and will act like he is an NBA and NFL referee. Can call a game better than some of these ESPN people.
I think it's amazing because God chose him. Things like this just don't happen just because. God chose your family and God chose him. How do you feel about that? Because, you know, as you read the Bible, he chose people for certain things because he knew that they could handle it. Everybody couldn't handle your testimony.
And before you answer that question, have you ever called him Samuel?
I have not.
Okay, thank you. Because my mom had not a liking similar, but she had an asked of God moment for me. So although my name was never Samuel, she would call me Samuel. And I'm like, Mom, why you call me? It wasn't until I accepted my call into the ministry that she told me why. And so, you know, he seems to be one of those asked of God children.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you gotta, you have to be careful too what you name your kids because my husband's name is Elton. And so we were looking through e-names and we're going through the e-name list on Google. And so we stumbled upon Evan, and Evan means little warrior. Now, I did not know that at the time. Jesus. But when I tell you he is beating all of the odds and like fighting for his life, you know, just kind of a funny story. He was not supposed to come naturally. He was, they were scheduling a C-section so that they can schedule the heart surgery because they knew when he got here that he was going to have to go straight to OR, right? So he actually was the only of my three that came on his own. He was like, nope, I'm not, you're not scheduling no C-section for me. I'm coming out, I'm coming through. Was, you know, my brother to this day will say that he winked at him as they were rolling him, you know, down the hallway to NICU. You know, it's just amazing and awesome to see him beating all of the odds that have been placed against him.
Okay, so here now I'm getting into the funny now. Here's the funny. So when you trying to get Evan's attention and he's on his own thing, what's the mama call for Evan?
I call him by his full name. Evan Christopher Johnson, get your butt in here now.
So the whole government name.
The whole name. Because, you know, he's also my reminder that he was born on Christmas. Like, how you just decide you gonna come on Christmas Day?
Wow.
I mean, this miracle, we call him our miracle baby, but for so many reasons. I mean, we went on Christmas Eve just for a checkup, and that's when they're like, oh yeah, no, we need you. He was due, I think a week and a half later. And we go in on Christmas Eve for a checkup, and they're like, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, we need you to head to labor and delivery. I said, for what? Like, I got Christmas stuff that I still need to go do. I was like, oh no, the baby is coming. And I said, huh? So this boy was born on Christmas Day. Just gonna let everybody know, hey, hi, I'm here.
So I'm gonna ask you, you said you have two other children, boys or girls?
I have another boy. So Evan is 8, and then Elijah is 6. And then we have a baby girl, Charlie, who is 2. She'll be 3 next month.
Okay, so just for the record, because it normally happens this way, is Charlie running the show right now? Who's running the show?
Definitely Charlie Baltimore.
Okay.
Definitely Charlie, yes. She runs us, and we prayed for that baby. You know, with my husband, we also have a 21-year-old. My husband had a boy when we met.
Right.
He a grown man now, but so we had, technically those were 3 boys. So my husband was like, well, I need a girl. And I was like, well, you better talk to God, because I don't know how to make that happen. So we prayed for that one. And when I tell you, that one came and shut down this entire house.
Wow, what a powerful story.
So this is my last question. Says, you know, we the book is called Storm Watch, and there's a caption underneath it. What does the caption say?
The sacrifice, the survival, and the supernatural.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, what I was going to ask is, you know, one, how they can connect with you, how they can get the book, and now I'm gonna be really even more deep, how they can book you to come and speak.
Oh yeah,
if
she's a speaker.
If they need you to pray for,
she's a speaker.
What prayer line can they go to?
Do it, guys.
all of those things, and then where's y'all's church, just in case they want to come through and worship with y'all.
Okay, so for the book, you can go to my website, and the website is the way you pronounce my name. You know, you got to be strategic in your marketing and your branding,
yes,
because
ma'am.
there are a lot of Charlie Johnsons on Google, so I had to tap into how you pronounce my name. So when you Google me, you can find me easily.
Right.
So the website is Charle Kiana. I'll type it in the Facebook chat for everyone, for the spelling.
No, wait a minute. Wait, I want you to say your full government name like your husband say it.
Oh, well, I can't do that on this national radio.
It's international. You're in 37 countries right now. Go on, do it the way he do it.
He calls me Charle Kiana.
Okay.
Which is why it's Charle Kiana on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So you can find me at charlekiana.com, but it's spelled Sharlay, which is the pronunciation of the name,
right?
Quiana. And then let's see, to order the book, you can order the book from my website. It also can be found on Amazon, but I would admonish you to order it from the website, because Evan is into signing books now. So when you order from the website, Evan will sign it and I will sign it as well. And then for booking, same thing, website, charlekiana.com or info@charlekiana.com. Please follow me on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook. There are a lot of things happening right now. I give updates on Evan through Instagram. He actually has his own Instagram now, of course, that I run and monitor and manage. He doesn't do any of the postings, but because there were so many people that want to follow just his story, right, I did create him an Instagram and Facebook. So it's Team Evan CJ or Team Evan Christopher Johnson. So please feel free to follow him as well, for public speaking, motivational speaking, prayer, whatever. Hit me up on any of those platforms and I'm here. I got you. For the church, our church is called Metropolitan Baptist Church, and we are located on 42nd and Hooper in Los Angeles, on the east side of Los Angeles. We are actually celebrating, we are kicking off this Sunday our 100-year church anniversary.
Wow.
Can you believe that? My husband is the 5th pastor at that church, and you know, we've been blessed. He's been pastoring there for, I think we're coming up on 12 years. But we've been blessed and are, you know, being a blessing to the community and to our ministry. So we also have a Facebook page, Metropolitan BC LA, because there is a metro in Pasadena as well. So
sure is.
So I'm gonna ask this question, that my last 2 questions. Number
okay?
one, and one's gonna be an invitation.
Okay.
I would love to have Evan and his brothers and sisters and the family back on and do an interview with y'all as a family, because I think it's important for people to see not only the priest of the household, but also to see this little miracle that you're talking about. So I would love to see it. And then a little Charlie Baltimore, I want to see her boss the thing. That's number one. And then number two, on a side note, I'm assuming you can cook, right?
Of course. Okay. I got a house of 6. Lord have mercy.
No. So I'm gonna ask you this question: when you was being courted by your husband, what was that killer meal that you cooked for him that made him say, "Oh yes, I'm gonna marry this one"?
He loves my meatloaf. He will ask me to make meatloaf 2-3 times a month. If he could have his way, I would make him meatloaf 3 times a month whenever he asks for it or whatever I feel like it. But it was definitely the meatloaf. Oh, and my burritos, my homemade burritos.
See, you know she from California. She from California, but she don't talk about meatloaf and homemade burritos.
Yes.
Well, my sister, this has been a fabulous interview. Yes. I'm encouraged. I want you to put all your information up.
Yes.
You all go out and get this book. It will literally change your life. Yes. It is called Storm Watch. And I actually like how she has I believe this is her on the cover with a real sassy stance. You know, like saying
she said, "My feet are planted."
Yeah, and me and Jesus and the family, we handle this situation.
Yes, and I think those that are listening, we are all going through storms, and we've been through storms, and you're gonna go through a storm. Get this book to help you navigate through life, and she has all the Christian principles and the faith in God. This could really help some of you. You know, many of you don't want to go to a therapist, so this is the closest thing that you can get to somebody helping you with your situation.
Absolutely.
Amen. Any final words?
Just, stay encouraged. If you're in a storm right now, be encouraged. Know that the storm is worth the testimony. When you come out of this, it is worth it to share with somebody else to help them through. And also, if you're in a storm, listen to God's voice. The Lord's voice is always louder than the wind in your storm. Stay close to him. Stay close to him. Don't get distracted. Don't lose focus. Just hang on in there and everything is going to be all right.
And will you contact us back when you hit the bestseller list? Because I truly believe that
in the name of
you're going to have this bestseller list.
Yes.
Let's talk some more because there's some other stations we need to get you on, and some other TV shows. You need to be on the Taryn Hall show.
She needs to be on the Taryn Hall show for real.
We need to get you on that show. We just need to talk because this is something that will literally change lives.
Jesus.
And I want you to send this out everywhere to every one of those shows, from Oprah to everybody else, and let them hear your story. Send the book. God's got a blessing, and this is going to be a door open for so many families that are going through this right now. So, sister, I'm proud of you.
Yes.
We love you. Salute to your husband and your family. And just let you know that we are with you on this.
Yes, we are. This is amazing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you both. And nice to meet you, Robert Dean, because I get to meet you in person. But my brother LT, we met recently, but nice to officially meet you. And I enjoyed you guys' show. You guys are hilarious at 6 o'clock in the morning. Who has this much energy at 6 o'clock in the morning? Y'all are doing the thing.
Listen, we got 400, 500 kids that we got to see right after this. So we pump up.
Right.
We pump up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm just gonna say this is Sister Johnson and the Johnson family, and I'm just feeling my spirit. We're gonna go to Greg O'Quinn and I told the storm.
Come on.
Right here on GOD Radio 1.
Oh my God.
You gotta get the .com.
.com. I almost forgot what we talked about.